President Trump took to social media today to say that there are no ongoing or planned talks with Iran to end the war. The president also said, interestingly, the Strait of Hormuz is open and suggested the waterway should be or might already be a U.S. territory. Not surprisingly, Iran's deputy foreign minister called that assertion a delusion. CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes has the latest. Nancy, pick it up from there.
Well, Major, the president's assertion that the Strait of Hormuz was not echoed by most others in the administration or leaders around the world who are desperately hoping that it actually does get reopened because they would like to see the free flow of oil into and out of the Persian Gulf once again. The president made a big threat against Oman, said that he might bomb Oman. Normally that would be a major cause for concern. Not only in the region, but of course for leaders of Oman itself. But it was kind of met with a big shrug because President Trump has made threats like this before. No one seriously believes that he would bomb a U.S. ally like Oman. And so some mixed messaging from the president there, mixed messaging about the talks. Yesterday, remember, he said there were back-channel discussions going on with the IRGC. The Iranians came out and said, no, there aren't. And then today he says there are absolutely no talks happening. No talks scheduled.
And the senior advisor to the White House, Jared Kushner, president's son-in-law, said that there is something going on that is more robust. I'm trying to figure out what Jared Kushner was telling Fox News that fits at all with what the president said. They seem completely disconnected.
Well, Kushner's words were a little bit difficult to parse as well, Major. It's not surprising that you're confused because on one hand, he said that communications between the U.S. and the Iranians are more robust than ever. Basically, they're talking. They're getting to know each other in a way that they didn't before. But he also went on to say that right now the Iranians are not showing any interest in doing something that makes sense. So in other words, they're having conversations, but the big conversation about nuclear weapons, the main reason that President Trump got into this war in the first place, they're not really talking about that in a substantive way.
Excellent. Nancy Cordes, thank you so much for helping it out. I appreciate it.
You got it.
I'm joined now by Aaron David Miller, friend of the show, senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, and most importantly for this conversation, deeply experienced in the region. Aaron David Miller, I don't like to be overtly glib. I often am with this topic, and I wince when I do so. But there's a great shrugocracy now developing around what President Trump says about this conflict and his intentions. The region just doesn't seem to pay as much attention to assertions he makes. The Strait of Hormuz is a U.S. territory. We might bomb Oman. There are no talks. There are talks. Am I reading this somewhat correctly?
I mean, I think things are happening here, Joe. I think you're reading it the way we all are. You have a frustrated, angry president that, in a war of choice, has gotten himself into a fix with no easy way out. I'm old enough to remember Vietnam and what LBJ said in '68. He felt like a hitchhiker in a Texas hailstorm. He couldn't run, he couldn't hide, and he couldn't make it stop. And the reality is this is not Vietnam. But the box that the president is in is quite clear, and it's sturdy. And the Iranians are quite content right now to keep him there until they are persuaded that he's prepared to come their way, and he's not. So on one hand, massive escalation has proven to be a key to an empty room. Cutting a deal that surrenders sovereignty over the Straits of Hormuz, even limited sovereignty, is a fundamental betrayal of American national interests. So they're picking right now, Scott Bessent talked about it last week, the economic option. They're going to wait. Blockade on, more sanctions. Maybe they'll cut off the Chinese, the Omanis, anyone else who essentially looks to American banks to process oil sales. Maybe they'll cut them off from the American financial system. That would be a severe sanction. And over time, if you want to wait 3, 4, 5 months, maybe the Iranian economy will break. And maybe, just maybe, you could change the calculation on the guys that are running the railroad in Tehran. I don't think so. It's an existential issue for them. It's not one for us. And that means, Major, that they're prepared to take risks and absorb pain that we clearly and simply are not.
And when you outline those potential places of economic leverage, they've been on the table from the beginning. That they have not yet been used perhaps suggests to us the reason why is that the United States might not be able to take the pain. More importantly, our allies might not be willing to take the pain. Whether China is an ally or not, they are an international partner of some note, and that has to be calculated. And my guess is it has been calculated throughout.
I think that's right. And, allies. I mean, we're alone in this. That's the extraordinary thing about this crisis. I cannot remember, having worked for administrations and voted for Republicans and Democrats, Jimmy Carter to Bush 43, a crisis in which arguably two countries, Iran and the U.S., you can toss the Israelis in, three countries have held the international global oil economy hostage and the international economy as well. We don't have allies in this. We're the Chinese. They're quite content to see us marinate in our own incompetence and the lack of a strategy. The Russians, every time oil goes up, what's the 90s now, and it could go up higher. The Putin's budget gap for financing the war is a bit smaller, and the Europeans, simply the French, the Germans, the Brits, they don't seem to count. So that makes us even worse. We don't have a lot of folks and allies pulling for us, helping us, and trying to figure out a way to press the Iranians, basically, to find a way out.
A three-nation stalemate. That's what it appears to be. Aaron David Miller, appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time.